Short exercise 20-9, compute cost per equivalent unit of production. This is sometimes abbreviated EPU. So the mixing department of Lugo Foods has 65,000 equivalent units of materials and 47,000 equivalent units of conversion costs for October. The mixing department of Lugo Foods has direct materials cost of $20,800 and a conversion cost of $23,500 for October. Compute the cost per equivalent unit of production for direct materials and for conversion costs. Round to the nearest cent. So first we have begin by determining the formula to compute the cost per equivalent unit. So first let's go and do a quick review here back on our slides. So here's a production cost report for Peggy's Puzzles. So this is the assembly department for Peggy's Puzzles. So this is where they assemble the puzzles. They take a picture of the puzzle, they apply glue, and then they stamp it to cardboard. So we have direct materials and then the conversion costs. So conversion costs are the direct labor of the people working on the stamping machines, and conversion costs also include manufacturing overhead. So that would be like maintenance on these stamping machines and also the depreciation on the stamping machines. So what we're trying to do just in this problem is calculate this cost per equivalent unit. So going back to this slide here, we had $2.80 for the direct materials. And the way we calculated that is we took the total cost of direct materials, which is $140,000. That included the beginning work in process, which was 0, and then cost of direct material costs added to the department during the period because there's $140,000 of costs. We divided by the 50,000 of equivalent units to account for, and that's when we get the $2.80. So what this $2.80 means is that per equivalent unit, so per finished puzzle, there's $2.80 of direct materials used. In other words, it's a picture of the cardboard and the glue, and then we do the same thing for the conversion costs. We take the total conversion cost to account for 68,000, which is included the 0 in beginning work in process and the 68,000 of conversion costs added during the period. We take the 68,000 divided by the equivalent units of 42,500 for conversion costs, and we get $1.60. So that means per puzzle there is $1.60 of conversion costs, which means $1.60 of direct labor and manufacturing overhead. So the cost per puzzle, you take the $2.80 plus the $1.60 is the cost per puzzle. And there is no transferred in cost, so we can ignore that. So then let's go back to our homework problem. So the formula for cost per equivalent unit is total cost divided by equivalent units. So that is here. Let's go ahead and check our answer. Excellent. Okay. So first we need to find the direct materials cost per equivalent unit. So for this first one, we're going to find this direct materials cost right here for 20,800, and then we're going to go ahead and divide that by the 65,000 equivalent units. So let's go ahead and get our calculator open. So we are taking the 20,800 in direct material costs and dividing that by the 65,000 in equivalent units of materials here. So that is going to give us an even 32 cents, 0.32. And let's go ahead and check our answer. Well done. So again, 32 cents of direct materials cost per equivalent unit right there. All right, so now next up we have the conversion cost per equivalent unit. So we're going to take the cost, remember here is our formula, so that's cost divided by units. So we're going to take the conversion cost of 23,500 for October, and we are going to divide that by this 47,000 equivalent units of conversion costs for October. So we go ahead and get our calculator out again. So that is going to be 23,500 divided by 47,000 in equivalent units of conversion costs. And that is going to give us our conversion cost per equivalent unit. So that is 50 cents per unit. So 0.50. So what this means is whatever food product this is, there is 32 cents of direct materials in the food product, and then there's 50 cents of conversion costs, which means, again, direct labor, manufacturing overhead. So the cost to make the product is the 32 cents plus the 50 cents. So we need to charge something higher than that to have a gross profit. Let's go ahead and check our answer. Fantastic.